What's good, sports fans? Are you ready to elevate your live entertainment experience? Well, let me introduce you to SeatGeek, an amazing platform that connects you to your favorite events while saving you money. With SeatGeek, you can easily find tickets for sports games, concerts, and so much more, all in one place. The interface is user-friendly, making it simple to browse and compare prices. And one of the best features is the interactive seating chart. You can see exactly where you'll be sitting and how much you'll be spending, ensuring you get the best value for your money. But here's the best part. Check this out. By using my promo code, ChalkItUpSports, you can enjoy a one-time $20 discount on your first SeatGeek order. That's right, $20 off your first SeatGeek order. Imagine catching that thrilling game or concert without breaking the bank. It's a win-win situation. Plus, you'll be a part of a community of fans who eat, sleep, and breathe live events just as much as you do. So what are you waiting for? Click the link in the description to download the SeatGeek app today. And don't forget to use my promo code ChalkItUpSports for a one-time $20 discount on your first SeatGeek order. Get excited. Now let's get back to the show. Yeah. What's good? This is your boy Tone DeShields the second. You guys are locked in on your dose of Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. Y'all know the vibes, y'all know the energy. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, man. It means a lot to me, goes a long way. Make sure you guys stay active, man. The show only gets bigger. The content is constantly in flux. So make sure you guys stay locked in, man. I really do appreciate y'all. So let's get into it, man. Let's not waste no time. Philadelphia Eagles managed to get a victory, managed to get a well-needed victory on the road in Minnesota. The Philadelphia Eagles beat the Minnesota Vikings 28-22. This was a very interesting game. I got to be honest with you. Carson Wentz, he made some good throws today, but Carson Wentz, man, he's still that same guy. He's still that same guy that will throw you out of a game, a guy that will put you in a hole. And that's pretty much what happened. Now, granted, the Vikings did their best job at trying to recover from Carson Wentz's turnovers. Carson Wentz threw 2 interceptions on back-to-back passes. One was a pick six and one was to Andrew Makuba on a prayer ball. He had no business throwing that ball. No business. The Eagles' run defense ultimately showed up today outside of one drive where I felt like they had a hard time stopping the run. For the most part, they stopped the run. And, Carson Wentz made some things happen with his legs. But for the most part, the Philadelphia Eagles managed to stifle Jordan Mason and Xavier Scott throughout the game. Outside of that one touchdown pass, that drive, the Eagles' run defense was pretty stout. And Carson Wentz and that Vikings offense threw for a lot of yards. They threw for 313 yards. If you adjust it, they threw for 298. But nonetheless, there was a point in the first half where they had over like 150 passing yards. It was crazy. So this Eagles defense definitely has to tighten up in pass defense. It's hard when Quinyon Mitchell is coming off of a hamstring. He didn't look healthy to me. Quinyon didn't look like himself. He looked like he was trying to manage throughout the game. He didn't come off the field or he didn't get banged up mid game or anything. But Quinyon just looked like he wasn't as sticky in coverage as I'm used to seeing. It seemed like he was trying not to just make too many awkward moves with his body. Adoree Jackson goes down with the injury. Then Kelee Ringo comes in. I mean, he's not any better. Andrew Makuba, outside of the interception, didn't really have a good game. I don't think Reed Blankenship had a good game. But that's beside the point. Jalen Hurts is remarkable. Jalen Hurts put on a masterclass on how to lead your team to a victory. He was in full command, especially in that second half. After the first scoring drive for the offense, the Eagles struggled on offense, right? They struggled. I think they had like back-to-back drives where they punted the ball. So after they scored on their first drive, it was punt, end of the half, where they decided not to get aggressive and they just went into halftime with 2 timeouts. I didn't understand that. Nonetheless, Eagles going to halftime up 14-6. Jalen Hunt had a pick 6 in the second quarter, which was huge, giving the Eagles an early lead of 14-3. But after that opening drive, where they went 12 plays, 75 yards for an A.J. Brown touchdown, I believe that touchdown came on 4th down, right? Make sure I got it right here. Yeah, 4th and 4. Jalen Hurts finds A.J. Brown for a 37-yard touchdown. Great pass, great communication by A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts. Great touch on the ball by Jalen Hurts. Eagles still struggle to run the ball overall. Nonetheless, you go into halftime up 14-6, where your offense outside of that first drive has been pretty stifled, right? Then you come out halftime. Vikings got the ball. They go 10 plays, 42 yards. They settle for another field goal. Now the score's 14-9. Then 2 plays, 84 yards. Jalen Hurts finds Devontae Smith for a 79-yard touchdown pass. By the way, Devontae Smith was going crazy this game. Going crazy. They couldn't stop him. He led the team in targets by a long shot. They could do nothing with Devontae Smith. As a matter of fact, both teams' wide receiver cores or wide receiver duos went crazy. Justin Jefferson had a good game, right? Justin Jefferson had 10 targets, 5 catches, 79 yards. Jordan Addison, 12 targets, 9 catches, 128. No touchdowns, though. But Devontae and A.J. Brown, their performances trumped that by a mile. Devontae Smith, 9 catches, 183 receiving yards, averaged 20 yards of reception, a passing touchdown for 79 yards, 11 targets. A.J. Brown, 6 targets, 4 catches, 121 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns, averaged 30 yards of reception. Longest catch of the day, 45 yards. I mean, this was a dominant showing by Jalen Hurts in that receiver core. Jalen Hurts, 19 for 23. 19 for 23. Let's do some quick math. 19 divided by 23. Completed 82.6% of his passes. 326 passing yards gross. 316 passing yards if you adjust it. Averaged over 14 yards an attempt. 3 passing touchdowns. Was sacked 3 times. Had a 158.3 passer rating. He was perfect statistically. He was absolutely perfect. In particular, in that second half, Jalen Hurts was in full command in the second half. I want to go back to the play-by-play here. In the third quarter, Eagles, 2 plays, 84 yards, 55 seconds, touchdown. Then fourth quarter comes, and this is a play that grinds my gears to this moment here. This is a moment that grinds my gears. You were moving the ball comfortably, and when I say comfortably, I mean you were pretty dynamic in the passing game and moving the ball, right? You were forced in a 3rd and long situation. It was 3rd and 15. Jalen Hurts finds Devontae Smith for a 28-yard reception for first down. You're moving the ball. You follow that up with a 19-yard pass to Devontae Smith again. You're moving the ball. Now you're at the Minnesota 28. You settle for a 5-yard pass, making it 2nd and 5. Okay. Then Saquon Barkley runs for no gain. All right, it's 3rd and 5 now. 3rd and 5, you're supposed to pass that ball. You're supposed to pass that ball. You're supposed to be aggressive there. You could have put the game away at that moment. But you decide to run the ball again with Saquon, settling for a 42-yard field goal, and you miss it. Jake Elliott's first missed field goal of the season. So I'm not going to look at Jake Elliott funny because he's been hot all year. It happens to the best of them. He's been hot all year. I'm not worried about Jake Elliott in the long run. But Kevin Patullo, Nick Sirianni, 3rd and 5. You're moving the ball. You're at the opponent's 28-yard line. Be aggressive. You only need 5 yards. Even if you throw it short of the sticks, if it's 4th and 1, you're going to go for it. You're going to go for it. You're going to stay aggressive. They settle for a field goal and they miss it. So then what happens? The Vikings get the ball back. They're moving the ball. They go 7 plays for 51 yards. And by the way, on this drive in particular, they find Jordan Addison for 25 yards on Keely Ringo. They find Jordan Addison again for 20 yards. So 25-yard pass and a 20-yard pass to Jordan Addison. And you're fortunate that Moro Jomo gets a sack at that point in the game. And they got to settle for a field goal. Now the game is 21-19. You need to score. You don't score, they get to drive down the field, kick a field goal, and take the lead. You go 7 plays, 70 yards in 3 minutes and 31 seconds, touchdown. And this drive was remarkable because Jalen Hurts had to make crucial passes on 3rd and long situations often. 3rd and long, 3rd and 13 at the 27-yard line. Philadelphia's 27. Hurts scrambles, finds A.J. Brown for 13 yards exactly. You get exactly what you need. Then Saquon runs for 8 yards, follows it up with a 5-yard run. He gets hurt during the play. What does Jalen Hurts do? Follows it up with a 21-yard pass to Devontae Smith. Now you're at the Minnesota 47-yard line. What does Jalen Hurts do on the next play? Finds A.J. Brown. 26-yard touchdown pass. And what makes it even more beautiful is that throughout this game, Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown was cooking Isaiah Rodgers. Devontae Smith cooked Isaiah Rodgers on his 78-yard touchdown pass, or reception, 79 yards, pardon me. And A.J. Brown cooked Isaiah Rodgers again on a 45-yard pass to ice the game. I mean, Jalen Hurts made crucial passes in crucial moments. That 45-yard pass was at 3rd and 9. You're on your own 44-yard line. What a way to go for it. What a way to be aggressive and go back to who you are. That's the Eagles passing game we're used to seeing. That aggressiveness on 3rd and long, pushing the ball down the field, no matter what down and distance it is. Jalen Hurts was sensational, statistically sensational. Again, the Eagles had a cold spell in the first half, 3 straight drives where they punted the ball. They go back to the drawing board in the second half, and they're pushing the ball down the field. Jalen Hurts is dominating these guys. Beautiful game by Jalen Hurts. Beautiful game. And they threw the ball 23 times. They ran the ball 23 times. 4 of the carries came by Jalen Hurts on scrambles. So they ran the ball 19 times with the running backs. They threw the ball 23 times with the quarterback, but had 27 designed passes. So the running game had a hard time being consistent all day. The offensive line is struggling in run blocking. Pass blocking has gotten better. It's gotten better, but when Brett Toth came into the game in the first half, he was awful. Now, he settled down in the second half. I will give him that. In the second half, Brett Toth settled down. But, nah, you got to be better than that. So, I give all the credit in the world to Jalen Hurts for overcoming the chaotic offensive line play on the interior. A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith had their best games in a while. Probably their best games. No, yes, their best games since the Super Bowl. Let's call it what it is. Is this a sign for what's to come? Hopefully so. It was great to see Hurts, A.J. Brown, and Smitty on the same page, especially on the deep balls. I mean, Hurts was letting that shit go. He was letting it go. I mean, on the game. He has a 37-yard touchdown pass. He has a 79-yard touchdown pass to Devontae Smith. Then he gets a 26-yard touchdown pass to A.J. Brown. Then he caps it off with a 45-yard dime. 45-yard dime to A.J. Brown to ice the game. He was pushing the ball. He was aggressive. Whatever they worked on over this 10-game stretch, their timing was on point. And it seems like in that Giants game, timing was off, especially to Devontae Smith. But nonetheless, great game by Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. Cam Jurgens got hurt. Azeez Ojulari got hurt. Jeremiah Trotter got hurt. The Eagles need the bye week tremendously. They need this bye week. So this was a game you honestly needed. This was a game you needed going into that Giants matchup next week. Your passing game looks explosive. The quarterback needed this game as well on the resume. A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith needed this game on the resume. We still need to get Saquon Barkley going. And I applaud them for staying committed to it to a degree. But once we got to that fourth quarter, I'm like, yo, just pass the ball. Just pass the ball, throw some screens. Saquon got nicked up in this game. I think he got evaluated for a concussion. He came back into the game. Just so far, not a good showing by this offensive line and run blocking. Pass pro improved in the second half. Jalen Hurts had a lot of time to throw the ball. Shout out to Miss Fanny with the super chat. She says, a lot of the plays Hurts audible were pass plays. Look at how high his yardage was and his completion percentage. Give him his flowers. He's that dude. Absolutely. I wish he would have audible out of that 3rd and 5 call right before we missed the field goal. I wish he would have audible out of that run play. K.O. Green with a $5 super chat. He says Jalen with the only 3rd perfect passer rating in team history, according to the commentators. Some fans say this guy can't throw. Hurts can throw, man. Like you just can't pay attention to that stuff. You just can't pay attention to that stuff, man. You can't pay attention to it. You can't pay attention to it. It is what it is. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. You know, we got a lot of you guys watching. A lot of you guys are watching on the Twitter side or on the X side. We got some of you guys watching on YouTube. You know, it means a lot. It means a lot that you guys support the channel no matter where you are. But come to the YouTube side, you guys. The YouTube side is way more fun. Obviously, way more lucrative for me. Let's just call it what it is, man. Let's just call it what it is. You know, I keep it 100 with y'all. When y'all on the YouTube side, that's how I get to the coin. That's how your boy gets to the coins. So make sure you guys smash the like button, retweet it. You know what I mean? Do everything you guys got to do to support the channel. It means a lot to me, but come to the YouTube side. Come to the YouTube side. It means a lot. S. Blunt says, Tone, are you excited? You seem real chill after this win. I'm chill because I expect them to do that. You feel what I'm saying? I expect Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, I expect them to do this. I'm going to be honest. I expect them to do this. This is what should have happened against the Giants. This is what should have happened against the Broncos. You know, all those people who want to, you know, jump ship on Jalen Hurts, they want to say he's the problem. We know Jalen Hurts is not the problem in this offense. Jalen Hurts has been efficient all year. He's been productive all year. Like, honestly, I think so far, So far through, let me make sure I got this right here. So far through 7 games, Jalen Hurts has, what is this? 8 plus 5, that's 13. Jalen Hurts has 16 touchdowns through 7 games. 11 passing, 5 rushing. You know what I mean? 11 passing, 5 rushing. So, this was the Eagles' best offensive performance all year long, in particular with the passing game. This was the best passing performance all year. Without a doubt. This was Jalen Hurts' best game all year. Without a doubt. And A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith deserve their flowers. They were dominating their matchups. Isaiah Rodgers was getting cooked. You know what I mean? Now we saw why Isaiah Rodgers was the backup in Philly to Darius Slay. Now we see why Isaiah Rodgers was the backup to Slay last season. Now, granted, Isaiah Rodgers played well for the Eagles last year. Don't get it twisted. And he's been playing well for the Vikings. As a matter of fact, let's make one thing clear. That Vikings defense is not chump. That Vikings defense, especially in pass defense, they're one of the best pass defense teams in football. And they force a ton of turnovers. They force a ton of turnovers. They get sacks. Let me see how many turnovers they forced on the season. The Minnesota defense is top 10 in takeaways per game. Top 10 in takeaways per game. And they don't give the ball up like that. So let's see what else, man. Like, this Minnesota teams struggle to pass on them. Teams are only averaging 6 yards an attempt. Teams are only averaging 157 pass yards per game against that defense. They're top 5 in sack rate. This Minnesota pass defense is legit. Like, let's not even pretend like they're not. Their run defense, leaves a lot to be desired, and we were unable to take advantage of that, which tells me we really have problems on the offensive line, like legitimately. The Vikings' run defense is not that good. Their pass defense is what makes their defense good. Brian Flores, he has the highest blitz rate in the league with his defense, plays the highest rate of cover 2. And they say Jalen Hurts struggles against cover 2. They say Jalen Hurts struggled against the zone. Jalen Hurts was dicing that team up, especially in the second half. He was dicing them up. A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith winning their matchups. That defense is not chump. That pass defense is not chump. Brian Flores is not chump. Isaiah Rodgers is not chump. Harrison Smith is not chump. Like, Byron Murphy Jr., not chump. So, credit to the Philadelphia Eagles. Credit to Jalen Hurts. Credit to Jalen Hurts for being in control, in full control in that first quarter. Offense got a little stagnant in the second. Well, no, not a little. They were stagnant. 3 consecutive punts. Again, shout out to Jalen Hunt for the pick 6. That was big. And Jalen Carter had a pretty good game as well. Pretty good game. It wasn't a great game, but he had a pretty good game. He was dominating. He was making life difficult for that Vikings interior. Jalen Carter is the one that forced that interception. So, got to give credit where credit is due, but Jalen Hurts won this game because the defense was giving up a lot of yards. They bit down in the red zone. Also, the Vikings had a lot of missed opportunities. They had a lot of penalties in the red zone. They got sacked. I think Carson Wentz got sacked twice in the red zone. TJ Hawkinson dropped the pass or dropped that touchdown pass. He didn't complete the process of the catch. right? The bulk of their points, I think they were 1-6 in the red zone. Let's make sure I got these numbers right here. So the Philadelphia Eagles on third down were 3 for 10. Not good at all. The Vikings were 7 for 15 on third down. That's pretty good. Defense had a hard time getting off the field for the Eagles. The Vikings ran more plays. Granted, the Eagles scored quicker. The Vikings technically had more yards. Only about 26 yards, though. Both teams had the same amount of drives. Eagles were averaging 7.4 yards per play. Vikings were averaging less than 6. Eagles had an adjusted pass yardage of 316. Vikings had an adjusted pass yardage of 298. Jalen Hurts completed 82.6% of his passes. Carson Wentz, on the other hand, completed 61.9% of his passes. Not good enough. Jalen Hurts was averaging 12.2 yards per attempt. Carson Wentz was averaging 6.8 yards per attempt. Not good enough. Carson Wentz throws 2 interceptions. Not good enough. Both teams struggled to run the ball. First time the Eagles defense held a team to under 100 rushing yards per game for the game. Eagles in the red zone were 0 for 1. Granted, they scored a lot of their touchdowns on explosives today. So I don't really care about the red zone percentage. The Vikings, on the other hand, 1 for 6 in the red zone. They had 6 red zone opportunities. They had 6 opportunities to score touchdowns. In a perfect world, the Vikings should have had 42 points in a perfect world. Instead, they went 1 for 6 in the red zone, settled for field goals 5 out of the 6 times, and your kicker scored more points than your quarterback. Your kicker scored more points than your offense. Will Richard, 5 field goals, 5 for 5. He accounted for 16 points. 16. Not good enough if you're the Vikings. Not good enough if you're the Vikings. Jalen Hurts took advantage, especially in the second half. So, although the Eagles defense allowed a ton of yardage, they came up big in the red zone, but also they got bailed out of some penalties. Remember, the center for the Vikings, if he doesn't get called for the penalty for the holding call, that's a touchdown. That's a touchdown. So, the Vikings, to make sure I got this right here, they had a chance. They had a chance to make this score 14-10. 14-10, they had a chance. Instead, the penalty happens in the red zone, holding call on the center. And guess what? They got to settle for the field goal. Score is 14-6 instead of 14-10. And that was the story for the Minnesota Vikings all day. Miscues, miscues, and miscues. This game came down to the team that made the least amount of mistakes and that protected the ball and that executed when it mattered most. It got so bad for Carson Wentz, they didn't even really allow him to push the ball down the field. They say, you know what? We're only throwing out routes to Jordan Addison. It got to a point where they had to limit the route tree because Carson Wentz was struggling to throw the ball and be accurate. The only thing Carson Wentz was connecting on consistently was those out route passes. Those passes towards the sideline to Jordan Addison. And in the Vic Fangio defense, they're going to let that go every single time. So the defense forced 2 turnovers and they got you points. Offense did their thing. controlling time of possession in the second half, controlling the ball, just being dominant and being aggressive and pushing the ball down the field. I still believe this Eagles offense will not reach their potential until the running game gets rectified. But I think the passing game, in particular with what A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Jalen Hurts showed today, and also what they showed in the past 2 games, they've been putting up the yards. They haven't been putting up enough points and finishing. So the past 3 games, I think the passing game has been good for Jalen Hurts in particular. Obviously, in the Giants game, he had the turnover in a crucial moment. Jalen Hurts doesn't throw interceptions, so I'm not gonna charge that to him. On top of that, missing Devontae Smith in that Giants game, they had a hard time recovering from that. But this game was necessary. This game was necessary for the passing game in particular. Even when you got cold in the first half, after you opened the drive, you came alive in the second half. Strong showing by Jalen Hurts. A perfect game. A perfect game. And it speaks volumes about the Jalen Hurts, Carson Wentz dynamic. You think those men showing up today didn't think about the way their dynamic became what it became? You think coming into this game, Carson Wentz didn't want to be vindicated by beating the Eagles? You think he didn't want to be vindicated by beating the guy that took his job? Let's call it what it is. He wanted this win badly. So badly, he turned the ball over twice. So badly, he was scrambling in that fourth quarter trying to make things happen. But still took sacks in the red zone. Was not making good decisions throughout the game. Threw a couple bad balls. You know, granted, offensive line let him down with the holding call, taking away his touchdown pass. And T.J. Hockenson dropped his other touchdown pass. Didn't complete the process. So don't get it twisted. I don't think Carson Wentz played a good game by any stretch of the imagination. But he had them with opportunities to either close the gap or put more points on the board. They just couldn't capitalize in the red zone. This Vikings defense did not allow a 200-yard passer all year long. I want to make that very clear. The Minnesota Vikings did not allow a 200-yard passer all year long. All year long. In the Chicago game, let's see here. In the Chicago game, I'm sorry, they didn't allow a 300-yard passer. Wait, let me go to the adjusted. Hold on. Let's see. All right, I take that back. All right. So when it comes to the adjusted pass yards, they allowed under 200 yards against the Bears. They allowed 198 yards against the Bears passing. When it comes to Atlanta, Michael Penix, less than 200 yards, only 135. When it comes to the Bengals game, Jake Browning, less than 150 yards passing. When it comes to the Steelers game, Aaron Rodgers had an adjusted pass yardage of 182, less than 200 yards. The Browns, Dylan Gabriel, less than 200 yards. And then they run up against Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. Jalen Hurts throws for over 300 yards. That Minnesota pass defense and their pass rush has been legitimate. The Eagles managed to overcome that. So, again, I give credit to Jalen Hurts, give credit to A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. What does this say going forward, though? What can we expect from the offense going forward? Again, I think Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, and Smitty have figured it out. I think the confidence is at an all-time high. I think this carries over into the Giants game at home. I think it carries itself over. They needed this win desperately, and they knew that. You're now 5-2 on the season. You stopped the bleeding. You were on a 2-game losing streak, losing to the Broncos the way you did in dramatic fashion, losing to the Giants in prime time. getting crushed 34-17. It was an embarrassing showing back-to-back weeks. You stopped the bleeding. You stopped the bleeding. This was a massive win against a team that I think potentially can make the playoffs. It all depends. It all depends what McCarthy is when he comes back. Can Carson Wentz win them more games? I don't know. But the Vikings will be a wild card team at best. At best. But the Eagles stopped the bleeding, improving to 5-2. Big game. Big game for Jalen Hurts. So let me get to y'all super chats here. What do we got? We got K Ordic Green with the $5 super chat. Thank you, K Ordic. He says, nah, bro, I like letting them know when they say stupid shit. No, for sure. Let them know, y'all. Let them know. Let them know. I ain't paying them no mind, though, man. It is what it is. I expect a game. This is what I expect from them. Now, granted, I came into the game measured, right? I came into the game with my emotions measured. I didn't want to get too high or too low, right? But when I saw how Jalen Hurts was throwing the ball across the yard, how Devontae and A.J. Brown was cooking these guys, I'm like, oh, okay. And then you get a pick six by Jalix Hunt. Then you get another interception by Makuba, even though you didn't capitalize and get points off of it. You forced 2 turnovers on back-to-back passes. I'm like, okay, all right. Now you're in Carson Wentz's head. Now he's feeling the pressure. Now he has to play from behind. That's not his strong suit. So, yeah, we're going to hold this W, and Jalen Hurts delivered a perfect game. 19 for 23. Completed over 80% of his passes. Over 80%. Remarkable. 82.6% to be exact. Over 300 passing yards, 3 passing touchdowns. All 3 passing touchdowns were for 20 yards or more. 20 yards or more. As a matter of fact, let's make sure I got this right here. All 3 passing touchdowns were for 26 yards or more. A 26-yarder to A.J. Brown, a 37-yarder to A.J. Brown, and a 79-yarder to Devontae Smith. Jalen Hurts is the best deep ball thrower in football. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care what anybody says. When Jalen Hurts last week was a fluke in terms of him missing Devontae Smith. He doesn't miss those. He doesn't miss guys like that. He doesn't. He just doesn't. This was the best passing performance by this offense by far. And I loved the double move A.J. Brown got on Isaiah Rodgers, because prior to that pass, A.J. ran a slant and Hurts missed him. Threw the ball a little behind him. What does A.J. Brown do? He fakes the slant, hit him in a double move, takes it over the top. Wide open. Wide open. Remarkable, man. David Turney with the super chat. Thank you, David. He says, what's ESPN going to say now? Great show. Go Birds. Listen, man, ESPN has a job to do. They're going to do exactly what they're going to do. They're going to continue to not give Jalen Hurts credit. Some people may. We'll see. The reality is the Philadelphia Eagles are 5-2 with a very important win in your conference, by the way. The Broncos loss, as painful as it was an AFC loss. So all the Eagles wins so far this season, have come up against, outside of the Chiefs, crucial games against NFC teams that may be in the mix in the end. You beat the Rams, so you own the tiebreaker. You beat the Buccaneers, so you own the tiebreaker. You beat the Cowboys. Can the Cowboys make the playoffs? It's possible. We'll see. Can they beat the Commanders today? We'll find out. We sure will find out. But as of right now, Washington is up 8-7 on Dallas. So I got a feeling this is going to be a competitive game through and through. I got the Commanders winning. And right now, the New York Giants are moving the ball on the Denver Broncos. Jackson Dart has 150 passing yards, 7 for 14 in a passing touchdown in the first half. He's completing 50% of his passes. He's not efficient, but he's pushing the ball down the field. It is what it is. Bo Nix is 4 for 10 for 27 passing yards. Not good at all. Not good at all. Daniel Bellinger, the tight end for the Giants, is having a good game so far. Longest catch of the day for 44 yards. I think it was a 44-yard touchdown. Let me double check this. Yeah, it was a 44-yard touchdown pass to Bellinger. You know, so outside of that one drive, Jackson Dart hasn't been efficient. Nonetheless, much needed win by the Philadelphia Eagles. Devontae with the $4.99 super chat. Thank you, Devontae. He says, Jalen for Tanner McKee, huh? Yeah, okay. Stop disrespecting my quarterback. Another quarterback for this offense. Yeah, it never happened. MVP hurts, baby. For sure, man. For sure. Like, when you got people talking about, yeah, we got to see what Tanner McKee does with his offense, that's a green light. Or I'm sorry, that's a red flag. Don't take anything they say serious. They're just trying to generate engagement and incite panic in your emotions. That's all they're trying to do. All they're trying to do is get you excited for nothing. When you hear people talk about, yeah, Tanner McKee deserves to start. Tanner McKee will run this offense better than Jalen Hurts. Howard Eskin, shut the fuck up. Shut up. You're a dinosaur in this game. Go sit down somewhere. Go sit down somewhere. You saw Tanner McKee go up against a Dallas team that was already getting blown out last season, and he barely beat the Giants in Week 18. You've never seen Tanner McKee go up against a competent defense. Never. Tanner McKee has shown you nothing to make you believe he can run this team, run this offense better than Hurts. He's shown you nothing. And I like Tanner McKee. I hate that he even catches strays like this. But when people jump out the window and say, yeah, Tanner McKee would run this offense better, stop talking. You're desperate for engagement. You're desperate. And desperation doesn't work in this business. It doesn't. People are aura farming. They're engagement farming because they can't do it by the merit of their own skill and talent. They're farming for clicks. They're farming to incite panic. They're farming because they can't get it done with their wits. They can't get it done with their charisma. They can't get it done with their skill. So what they do, they bring up BS talking points. You see, I believe my responsibility to you guys isn't only to tell the truth, because I'm going to tell you the truth. That's one thing I never do. I tell y'all the truth. But my responsibility goes beyond just telling you the truth. Covering this team for you guys, as we've done consistently. My responsibility to you guys goes beyond just being honest and calling it how I see it. I have a responsibility to provide you guys with solutions as well, or what I deem as a solution. I have a responsibility to tell you guys, hey, although I agree and I see your concerns, this Eagles team has all the tools to get it together. Your quarterback is a Super Bowl MVP, an All-Pro, a Pro Bowler, a Super Bowl champion. You have All-Pros and Pro Bowlers sprinkled on your offense. You have a defense that has talent sprinkled all over. Are you limited? Are you limited at CB2? You are. You are. Has Andrew Makuba made rookie mistakes so far this year? He has. But he's also forced turnovers in crucial moments. He'll get better. I believe he will. I believe Makuba will get better. He is a rookie. Are you struggling to generate a consistent pass rush with your edge rushers? You are. But the solution to that, hey, let's get Jihaad Campbell on the edge. Let's get creative. You know, Moro Jomo had a good game today. You know what I mean? Jalen Carter, good game. Jordan Davis, good game. You know, you're struggling to get consistent pressure on the edge. I get it. Jalen Hunt isn't getting consistent pressure. He had a couple quarterback hits, but not consistent pressure. You're missing Nolan Smith. Zadarius Smith retired. Patrick Johnson isn't getting pressure. I think Josh Uche got a sack today as well. Make sure I got that right here. Yes, Josh Uche got a sack. You know, but you protected the ball. You didn't turn it over. You forced turnovers. You dominated the second half. Your passing game got going. Jalen Hurts had a perfect game. A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith had great games. This offensive line and Saquon Barkley, they have a ways to go, in particular the offensive line. They have a ways to go. You're battling injuries consistently on the interior. If it's not Cam Jurgens, it's Landon Dickerson. If it's not Landon Dickerson, it's Cam Jurgens. You feel what I'm saying? Brett Toth can't play. He should never see the football field again. I would much rather have Drew Kendall, the rookie, snapping the ball. Brett Toth can't play. Now he settled down in the second half, but he still can't play. I'm sorry. You lost Azeez Ojulari in the game. You lost Jeremiah Trotter Jr. in the game. Saquon got banged up in the game, but came back into it. You know? You're 5-2. In your offense, in particular, your passing game came off of their best game of the season. Your quarterback is coming off of a perfect game. You have the Giants at Lincoln Financial Field before the bye week. You can dominate them and win that game. Sure, they're confident. They're confident after they beat you. Okay. They're confident after they beat you. But if they lose to the Broncos today, which I think they will, we'll see. But if they lose to the Broncos today, they fall to 2-5. Even if they win, they're 3-4. They're not making the playoffs. The Giants are now up on the Broncos 13-0. Jackson Dart 8 for 16, 2 touchdown passes. Jackson Dart, let's see here. He found Cam Scatterbull for a 13-yard touchdown pass. Giants are going to be up 14-0. The Broncos, listen, man. We'll see what happens, man. I still got the Broncos winning this game. We'll see. But so far the Giants are getting some. They beat the Chargers? Can they beat the Broncos today? We'll find out. They beat the Eagles. You know, they got a couple signature wins on the resume. They do. Jackson Dart is a hard guy to bring down. He's very elusive. He's very elusive. I think Jackson Dart is the quarterback for them. We'll see, though. We'll see what he does in the long term. Regardless, though, Eagles beat Vikings 28-22. Great win by this team. They needed it. They needed it. This was a much needed win for Jalen Hurts and his team. Because if you're Jalen Hurts, right, you know, you haven't been awful this season. You haven't. Jalen Hurts has not been awful this season. He's been efficient. And he's been accurate. He hasn't turned the ball over. On the season, he has, excuse me, on the season, he has 4 games, 4 games out of 7 where he has a passer rating of 100.8 or higher. He has 6 games this season of a passer rating of 94.2 or higher. Jalen Hurts on the season has 11 passing touchdowns, 5 rushing, 16 on the season, 16 total touchdowns on the season. Only 2 turnovers, 1 interception that happened last week, and the fumble that really only happened because Matt Pryor got him killed. Almost got him killed, excuse me. So I don't really put that fumble on him, but I mean, you got to hold on to the ball, but it's kind of hard to hold on to a ball when Matt Pryor is just allowing guys to hit you like that. Jalen Hurts has only thrown 1 interception, 11 passing touchdowns, 5 rushing, 16 touchdowns, 1 interception, 1 fumble, 16 touchdowns, only 2 turnovers on the season. Come on, man. Come on. And Minnesota was blitzing him all day. They got to understand that blitz shit. They got to realize it's over for that. It's over for that. Jalen Hurts can beat your blitz. He can beat your blitz. Wow, the Giants kicker missed the field goal. So Giants are up 13-0 on the Broncos. As of right now, the Dallas Cowboys are up on the Commanders, 17-8. Dak Prescott so far 4 for 7, 116 passing yards, a touchdown. Jaden Daniels 4 for 6, 53 passing yards, and a touchdown. This Cowboys offense, they've been putting up big numbers all year long. And I also think this is CeeDee Lamb's first game back, right? I think this is CeeDee Lamb's first game back. Yeah, he hasn't played since the Chicago game. So that's a big get for the Dallas Cowboys. And I honestly forgot he was coming back. But Dallas has shown they can put up numbers, but their defense can't stop people. So we'll see how this thing goes. I think this game is going to be a shootout. I would like Dallas to win, though. Even though I got the Commanders winning, I would like Dallas to win. I would like Dallas to win. All right, let's see here. Let's look at some of the scores for today. All right. Rams beat the Jaguars 35-7, dominated them. Bears beat the Saints, dominated them. Browns beat the Dolphins, dominated them. I did not expect that. I did not expect that at all. And Tua got benched today. Bad look, man. I had the Dolphins winning, so let me fix this, man. All right, Patriots beat the Titans. I expected that. Patriots are 5-2, by the way. And Drake May has been playing well. 21 for 23, 2 passing touchdowns. So Drake May had damn near a perfect game as well. Damn near. They found their quarterback of the now and the future. So let's adjust that real quick. All right. Pats win. I had the Chiefs winning. Obviously, the Eagles win. Panthers won as well. I'm doing good today so far. All right. Let's see where we are. Let's check the comments here. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, man. All right. Arthur McQueen says Saquon Barkley is slow, boys, and he's one of my favorite. He's one of my favorite O-line stinks as well. I think the offensive. I think it's more of an offensive line problem than the Saquon Barkley, if I'm being honest. How many times did you see him get tackled in the backfield today? Seriously. He was tackled so many times in the backfield. I can't. He didn't even have ample opportunity to really get off. The interior has been a problem. You can tell the Eagles were trying, though. They were trying to get him the ball on the outside. They were pitching the ball. They were running off tackle. They were trying. But this O-line is not playing well. They need a bye week desperately. Pretty Mimi says it's about time Tua got benched. He's been awful for years. Yeah, Tua got benched today, man. It's pretty crazy to see. It's crazy. I can't. It's nuts, honestly. It's really crazy. Tua is so bad. He went 12 for 23, 100 passing yards, 3 interceptions. Tua, isn't it funny how life comes at you full circle? Life comes at you full circle. Jalen Hurts today went 19 for 23 for 3 touchdowns, 326 yards. Tua Tagovailoa 12 for 23, 100 passing yards, 3 interceptions. A tale of 2 players. A tale of 2 careers. Let's put it that way. Scott Lynch says Hurts throwing over 300 yards with the perfect passer rating is the top 3 type stuff that the haters said he wasn't capable of doing. Where they at now? Listen, man. Jalen was remarkable today. He was remarkable. No turnovers, over 300 yards passing, 3 passing touchdowns, a perfect passer rating. Jalen Hurts was sensational. Devontae Smith, sensational. Sensational. Devontae, 11 targets, 9 catches, 183 yards receiving, a touchdown. A.J. Brown, 6 targets, 4 catches, 121 yards, 2 receiving touchdowns. Both of them were averaging a minimum of 20 yards per reception. Devontae Smith was averaging 20.3 yards per reception. A.J. Brown averaging 30.3. Just dominated the game. Dominated. All right. So next week, Eagles face the Giants at Lincoln Financial Field. This Giants team is playing with confidence. They've beaten the Chargers. They've beaten the Eagles. And as of right now, they're beating the Broncos 13-0. The Broncos are having a hard time moving the ball. And honestly, when I saw the Giants go up against the Saints, and when I see the Broncos go up against the Giants this weekend, how the Broncos went up against who was that? How the Broncos faced who they played last week that they barely beat. The Broncos barely beat the Jets last week, 13-11. We should have never lost to the Broncos. The Eagles should have never lost to the Broncos. They barely beat the Jets, and they're losing to the Giants right now. They also lost to the Chargers and the Colts. They haven't beat good teams. They beat the Titans. They beat the Bengals. They beat the Jets. The only quality win they have is against the Eagles, and it's because we gave it to them. We gave it to them. We fumbled that game away. The Broncos did not deserve to win that game, but we gave it to them nonetheless. And now they're losing against the Giants 13-0. The Broncos are frauds, and we made them look legit. We made them look legit. So that begs the question: how much stock we put into this Giants if they beat the Broncos? How much stock we put into it? I mean, well, they beat us, and they might beat them. We'll find out. It is what it is, though. It is what it is. I can't get mad at it. You just got to play who's in front of you. And right now, the Eagles are 5-2. Much needed victory. You stop the bleeding. Kudos to Jalen Hurts. Kudos to Jalen Hurts. Kudos to A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. We got to figure out what's going on with this offensive line. Guys got to get healthy. They got to give Saquon some daylight, man. They got to, because every time Saquon has some daylight, he does something with it. He does something with it. This Eagles offense will never reach its full potential unless they get the running game going. They got to, man. And for the Eagles not to have a running game today and Jalen Hurts doing what he did, that's game changer shit. That's game changer shit. That's Super Bowl MVP shit. That's franchise quarterback stuff. Okay, we can't run the ball. I got us. I'm looking at Jalen Hurts' game log here. He carried them in the Dallas game, or in the Dallas win. Let's call it what it is. He carried them in the Dallas win. He carried them in the Rams win. Right? And he carried them in the Minnesota win. That Tampa Bay win, they came out hot, but defense ruled the day in the second half. The Chiefs game, defense made it difficult for the Chiefs. Obviously, they lost the Broncos in the Giants game. And in both of those games, Jalen Hurts was the best player on the field for the Eagles. His passing numbers are only going up each and every week since that Tampa Bay game. 3 consecutive weeks throwing for 280 yards or more. So I think Jalen Hurts is going to continue on this trend. Now, will he have more perfect games? I don't know. Will he throw an interception maybe at some point later on? It's possible. But for Jalen Hurts on the season, seriously, for Jalen Hurts on the season to have thrown for 11 passing touchdowns, is completing close to 70% of his passes, only has 1 interception, and has 5 rushing touchdowns on the season. For Jalen Hurts to have 16 total touchdowns, 11 passing, 5 rushing, only 1 interception, and is averaging a passer rating of over 100, completing close to 70% of his passes. What more? He's playing well. The offense hasn't been efficient as a whole throughout the season. They've gotten cold, they've been hot, they've been up and down. But this was an important game for that offense because you started off and scored on the first drive. Then you got cold for 3 consecutive drives. Punt, punt, punt. Your defense got a pick 6 in the middle of that, giving you a 14-3 lead. And then you go into halftime with the 14-6 lead. And then they come out and kick a field goal. It's 14-9 now. Offense comes alive, and they score touchdowns. So, and they iced the game with the passing game. They needed this game. For sure, especially the passing game, especially Hurts, A.J. Smitty. I still have a problem. I still have a problem with that 3rd and 5 play call. That's grinding my gears right now. That is grinding my gears right now. But other than that, I have no complaints about Jalen Hurts and this pass attack. I still think things can improve with play calling, but give credit where credit is due, man. For them to call A.J. Brown's number, and I'm not saying it's a shocker to call A.J. Brown's number, but for them to dial up that play on a game-clinching drive, Hurts finds A.J. Brown for 45 yards on 3rd and 9. 3rd and 9. What a call. What a route. What a pass. What a catch. Let me get to the super chat real quick. My man S. Blunt got us right here. He says, thoughts on BG returning. Does Bennett start next? I think Jacorian Bennett will start next week, especially if Adoree Jackson can't go. I think Jacorian Bennett will start. And as far as Brandon Graham returning, I mean, does it hurt you? No. It doesn't hurt you at all. You know what I mean? My only question is he in shape? Now, I think BG has been working out, but, like, is he in shape? Being in football shape is different. You know what I mean? He hasn't been retired for too long. Let's call it what it is. He hasn't. He hasn't been retired too long. But does he want to take on the rigmarole and the marathon that's required throughout a season? Now, granted, the Eagles are 7 games deep. They're 5-2. There's 10 games left on the schedule. Can BG come in mid-season and be somebody that can help solidify your run defense, be somebody that can help get pressure? It's possible. But my only question is he in shape? Is he in shape? Because you lost to Darius Smith. Azeez Ojulari got hurt with a hamstring, so who knows how bad that is. You're already weak there. Nolan Smith won't be back until after the bye week. You're weak on the edge. So I would welcome BG back. I would welcome it because the Eagles need him. They're desperate. They're desperate. If you don't have Azeez Ojulari next week, it's gonna be crazy. They're so desperate that they moved Jihaad Campbell to play off ball quite a few times today. And it made sense because you were able to get Nakobe Dean, Zack Baun, and Jihaad Campbell on the field at the same time. And Nakobe Dean had a decent game today. A very decent. I think Zack Baun, Nakobe Dean, and Jihaad Campbell had good games today. I really, really do. I really do. So I would welcome a BG return. And I do believe Jacorian Bennett starts next week, especially if Adoree Jackson can't go. It's not like Adoree Jackson's done anything remarkable. So, yeah. All right, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the live stream. I hope you guys enjoyed your time here. I appreciate all of you who've been watching on X. We got over 200 people watching on X, and we got over 110 people watching on YouTube. Again, you guys, the YouTube side is way more beneficial for the overall success of the platform, the overall success of the channel. I do appreciate all of you who definitely show love on X. Do not get me wrong here. Make sure you guys retweet. Make sure you guys, hit that like button as well. Give me a reply. Tell me your thoughts. Stay active in the comment section. Also, if you guys are watching on X, go over to the YouTube side, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you guys turn on your notification bell. Hit the like button as well. And by the way, make sure you guys hit the hype button. The hype button is so important. It's a new feature that YouTube has added. It's a new way for us to improve the algorithm and improve the overall visibility of the show. So make sure you guys hit that hype button. It's super duper important. Super duper important for the overall success of the platform. So I really do appreciate you guys for just being dope viewers and continuing to trust me to chronicle this season with you guys. Your Philadelphia Eagles are 5-2. They got the Giants next week. Jalen Hurts finished the game 19 for 23, completing 82.6% of his passes, 326 passing yards, 316 if you adjust it. Averaged over 14 yards an attempt, 3 passing touchdowns, no turnovers, a 158.3 passer rating. Saquon Barkley finished the game, 18 carries, 44 yards, averaged less than 3 yards a carry, no touchdowns, longest run of the day, 9 yards. Not a good game for Saquon, not a good game for the offensive line and run blocking. Devontae Smith, on the other hand, 11 targets, 9 catches, 183 yards receiving, averaged over 20 yards of reception, 79-yard touchdown pass, his longest of his career and his best game of his career as a whole. A.J. Brown, 6 targets, 4 catches, 121 receiving yards, averaged over 30 yards of reception, 2 receiving touchdowns, one for 26 yards or 27 yards, and another one for like 30 plus yards. So the passing game was explosive today. Jalen Hurts was accurate. He was poised, and he was in full command, in particular in that second half. And you got to give credit where credit is due. Jalen Hunt with a pick 6. Zack Baun leading the team in tackles with 10. Cooper DeJean with a tackle for loss. Nakobe Dean with a tackle for loss. Cooper DeJean also had a crucial pass deflection in the end zone on Justin Jefferson. So that was a big deal as well. Josh Uche, 2 tackles for loss and a sack. Decent game for him. Jordan Davis with a tackle for loss as well. Good game for him. Andrew Makuba with the interception. Moro Jomo with the sack. Strong game for him. Quinyon Mitchell, not his best game at all. Quinyon Mitchell's worst game of the season by far. I think he's still dealing with that hamstring. Nonetheless, you guys have been great. Hit the hype button. Smash the like button. I've been your humble host, Tone DeShields II. You guys have been locked in on Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game.